I caught my boyfriend at our house cheating with my best friend. They were shocked. He ended up trying to blame me, but when I found out my husband was cheating on me with my best friend, he had the nerve to accuse me of infidelity, which was a complete lie. I decided to show him just what I was capable of. At 32 years old, I had been married to Jake, who was 34, for 8 years. We first crossed paths during our sophomore year of college at a party thrown by a mutual friend. I remember being instantly attracted to Jake's magnetic personality and his contagious laugh. He was studying law, and I was working on a degree in marketing. We clicked right away, bonding over our love for classic films and hiking. Our relationship developed quickly. Jake was always attentive, romantic, and seemed genuinely interested in my ambitions. We spent countless hours talking about our future and dreaming about the life we would build together. After graduation, Jake proposed to me during a weekend trip to the mountains, the same place where we had our first hiking date. It was perfect, and I accepted without hesitation. We got married a year later in a beautiful ceremony, surrounded by our family and friends. My best friend Sarah, who is 31, stood by my side as my maid of honor. Sarah and I have been inseparable since high school. We met on the first day of freshman year, when we were assigned as lab partners in biology class. From that day on, we were practically joined at the hip, supporting each other through first crushes, heartbreaks, family drama, and every major life event. Having her with me on my wedding day felt right. After the wedding, Jake and I settled into married life, focusing on our careers. I worked my way up the corporate ladder at a marketing firm, while Jake dedicated long hours at a prestigious law firm. Despite our busy schedules, we made an effort to keep our relationship strong with regular date nights and weekend getaways. We were even starting to discuss having children. Sarah was a constant presence in our lives, frequently visiting our home. Jake often joked that she was our second wife. I appreciated having such a supportive friend, especially when Jake's job began demanding more of his time. About 6 months ago, I began noticing subtle changes in Jake's behavior. He became more secretive with his phone, taking calls in another room, or texting late into the night. When I asked about it, he dismissed it as work-related stress. I wanted to believe him, but a nagging feeling in my gut told me something was wrong. Around the same time, Sarah was going through a difficult period. She had just ended a long-term relationship and was struggling to find a new job in her field. I tried to be there for her as much as possible, inviting her over for dinners and girls' nights when Jake was working late. Last month, I had to go on a week-long business trip to New York. It was a big opportunity for my career, a chance to secure a major client for our firm. Jake was supportive, encouraging me to go and give it my all. I felt guilty about leaving him alone for a week, but he assured me he'd be fine. The trip was successful, and I managed to finish my work a day early. I decided to surprise Jake by coming home unannounced. I imagined his face lighting up when he saw me, and maybe even planning an impromptu date night to celebrate my achievement. When I entered our house, I immediately sensed something was off. There were 2 wine glasses on the coffee table, and I heard muffled voices coming from upstairs. My heart pounded as I slowly made my way up to our bedroom. The door was slightly open, and what I saw through that crack shattered my world. Jake and Sarah were in our bed, clearly in an intimate moment. I stood there frozen, unable to process the betrayal by the 2 people I trusted most. I must have made a sound because they both looked up and saw me. The shock and guilt on their faces is something I will never forget. I turned and fled the house, ignoring their desperate calls behind me. I drove aimlessly for hours, my mind replaying the scene over and over. How could they do this to me? How long had it been going on? Was our entire relationship a lie? When I finally returned home, Jake was waiting for me. He tried to explain, claiming it was a mistake and that it had only happened once. But I could see the truth in his eyes. After pressing him, he admitted that Jake and Sarah had been involved in an affair for months, and discovering this left me utterly shattered. Every cherished memory with Jake and Sarah now felt poisoned. Those moments when Sarah comforted me during Jake's distant phases, she was the reason behind his aloofness. The depth of their betrayal cut me to the core, leaving me feeling empty and lost. I told Jake I wanted a divorce. He pleaded with me to reconsider, promising to break things off with Sarah and suggesting we attend couples counseling. Yet, deep down, I knew I could never trust him again. The very foundation of our marriage was irreparably damaged. Before I could take definitive steps towards divorce, Jake blindsided me with accusations. He claimed I had been unfaithful, asserting he had proof of my affair with a coworker. These allegations were completely unfounded, but Jake was convincing in his lies. He told me he couldn't TMT trust me anymore, and demanded that I leave the house. I was stunned and bewildered. I had been nothing but loyal to Jake. Gradually, it became clear that this was his attempt to control the narrative. As a lawyer, he knew that accusations of infidelity could sway divorce proceedings. He was trying to cast me as the unfaithful one to shield himself. Currently, I'm staying with my younger sister, trying to navigate my next steps. I know I need to file for divorce, but I'm terrified. Jake is a skilled lawyer with extensive connections in the legal world. I fear he'll use his expertise and resources to manipulate the situation to his advantage. I've started collecting evidence of Jake's infidelity text messages I discovered on our shared iPad, credit card statements showing hotel stays on nights he claimed to be working late, anything that can substantiate his affair. I'm resolute in my determination to fight for what is rightfully mine. The past few weeks have been a whirlwind of emotions. One moment, I'm filled with rage, ready to challenge Jake's deceit. The next, I'm engulfed in sorrow, mourning the life I thought I had. I've lost both my husband and my best friend in one fell swoop, and I'm struggling to make sense of it all. It feels as if my entire life has been a lie. The man I envisioned growing old with and the friend I believed would always support me have both betrayed me in the most profound way. I'm questioning every memory, every moment of happiness, wondering if it was all just an illusion. Sometimes I wonder if I'm overreacting. Should I attempt to forgive Jake and rebuild our relationship? But then I recall the look on his face when I caught him and how effortlessly he lied to me afterward, and I realize that I can never trust him again. The thought of starting over at 32 is daunting. Jake and I had our future mapped out: the house we'd buy, the children we'd raise, the places we'd visit. Now, all of that is gone, and I'm left trying to reimagine my life without him. The hardest part is the loneliness. I've lost the two people I would typically turn to in a crisis. I find myself reaching for my phone to call Sarah when something happens, only to remember that she's no longer my friend. It's like grieving two losses simultaneously. I know logically that I deserve better than a deceitful husband and a treacherous friend, but emotionally, I'm a wreck. I'm constantly second-guessing my decisions, wondering if I'm doing the right thing by pursuing a divorce. Am I wrong for wanting to end this marriage and fight for what's mine? Should I try to forgive Jake and reconcile? I don't think I can ever trust him again, but the thought of facing the future alone is terrifying. Any advice or support would be greatly appreciated. I feel lost and could use some outside perspective on this whole ordeal. Update. It's been 3 months since my last post, and I wanted to share an update on my situation. First and foremost, thank you to everyone for your kind words and advice. Your support has been a beacon of hope during this challenging time. After much deliberation, I decided to proceed with the divorce. I hired a reputable lawyer who specializes in high-conflict divorces. It was costly, but considering Jake's legal expertise and his attempts to manipulate the situation, I knew I needed someone capable of matching his tactics. The past few months have been a whirlwind of legal proceedings, emotional turbulence, and personal growth. As I feared, Jake didn't make things easy. He aggressively spun the story that I had been unfaithful, even going so far as to name a specific coworker he claimed I had an affair with. It was a total lie, but Jake made it sound believable. The most shocking part was Sarah backing up his story. My former best friend, who had been by my side for over a decade, was now working against me to protect herself. This betrayal felt deeper than anything I had ever experienced. My lawyer advised me to remain calm and let our evidence speak. We presented text messages, credit card statements showing hotel stays, and security footage from our neighbor's camera that captured Sarah coming and going at strange hours when I was away on business. The legal battle has been incredibly tough. Jake has tried every tactic to discredit me and conceal assets. I've endured numerous depositions, meetings with financial experts, and court appearances. It's been emotionally and mentally draining, but I'm determined to see this through. Throughout this ordeal, I've come to some painful realizations about my marriage. In hindsight, I noticed red flags I'd ignored. Jake had always been controlling with money, insisting on separate accounts and scrutinizing every penny I spent. Now I see he was preparing for this eventuality for years. I also found out Sarah wasn't the first affair. There had been other women, some were brief encounters, others were ongoing affairs. Each new discovery felt like a dagger to the heart, making me question our entire 8-year relationship. My family has been my greatest support. My sister welcomed me into her home, providing a safe space amidst the chaos. My parents have been helping with legal fees and offering emotional support. Without their unwavering support, I don't know how I would have managed. I've also started therapy to process the emotional turmoil and rebuild my self-esteem. I now realize how much of myself I lost in my marriage to Jake. I was so focused on being the perfect wife that I forgot about my own needs and dreams. Work has been a saving grace. I immersed myself in my job to escape the personal chaos. It paid off when I received a promotion last month, which was a blessing given the rising legal costs. My coworkers have been incredibly supportive, especially after Jake tried to involve one of them in his false narrative. Regarding Sarah, I haven't spoken to her since I caught them together. She has tried to reach out with tearful voicemails and lengthy apology emails, but I'm not ready to listen. The trust we had built over years of friendship is gone, and I don't know if it can ever be restored. The divorce process is ongoing. Jake is fighting fiercely to keep everything. He argues that his successful career entitles him to a larger share of our assets, conveniently ignoring how my support enabled him to focus on his career, while I juggled work and managing our household. But my lawyer is confident in our strong case. We have uncovered evidence of Jake hiding assets, which has significantly strengthened our position. I take things day by day. Some days are better than others. There are moments when I miss the life I thought I had and the future I had planned. Starting over in my 30s is daunting, but I'm beginning to see it as an opportunity rather than a setback. I'm rediscovering parts of myself that I had neglected. I've started painting again, a hobby I had given up because Jake complained about the mess and the time it took away from him. I'm reconnecting with old friends who had drifted away during my marriage, rebuilding a support network that doesn't revolve around Jake or Sarah. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but I feel stronger every day. I am no longer the broken woman I was 3 months ago. Now, I am determined to fight for the life and future I deserve. It may not be the future I had envisioned, but I'm beginning to believe it could be even better. Thank you all for your unwavering support. It means more to me than you can imagine. I'll update again once the divorce is finalized. Please wish me luck. Update 2. It has been another 6 months since my last update, and I'm finally able to say that the divorce is officially finalized. The journey to this point has been long and grueling, but I'm proud to share that I've emerged stronger and wiser. The turning point in our legal battle came when we uncovered hidden accounts Jake had used to funnel money away from our marital assets. My lawyer managed to trace these accounts and prove that Jake had been orchestrating this deception for years. This discovery shifted the case entirely in my favor, exposing Jake's manipulative tactics. The judge was not impressed with his dishonesty or his false accusations against me. In the end, I was awarded half of everything, including the house and Jake's retirement accounts. It felt like a major victory after months of battling his lies. The day the divorce was finalized was a mix of emotions. While I felt an immense sense of relief, it also felt like the final end to a significant chapter of my life, 8 years, gone. But as I listened to the judge's final ruling, I realized I was closing the door on a toxic part of my past and opening up to new possibilities. Since the divorce was finalized, I've been focused on rebuilding my life. I moved into a new apartment in a different part of the city. It's smaller than the house Jake and I shared, but it's entirely mine. I'm gradually making it feel like home, filling it with things that bring me joy and reflect who I am, now not the person I was trying to be for Jake. It's the first time I've lived alone as an adult, and though it was intimidating at first, I'm starting to enjoy my newfound independence. I can decorate as I please, cook whatever I like, and spend my free time on my interests without considering anyone else's preferences. Work has been a sanctuary. I threw myself into my job to escape the chaos of my personal life. The hard work paid off, and I received a promotion last month, which came at the perfect time, given the mounting legal expenses. My colleagues have been incredibly supportive, especially after Jake tried to drag one of them into his web of lies. As for Sarah, I haven't spoken to her since I caught her with Jake. She has tried to reach out with tearful voicemails and lengthy apology emails, but I'm not ready to listen. The trust we built over years is shattered, and I doubt it can ever be repaired. The divorce proceedings were tough, but ultimately successful. Jake fought hard to keep everything, arguing that his career success entitled him to a larger share of our assets. He conveniently ignored how my support allowed him to focus on his career while I managed our household. However, my lawyer was confident, and we presented a strong case. Evidence of Jake hiding assets significantly strengthened our position. I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are easier than others. There are moments when I miss the life I thought I had, the future I planned. Starting over in my 30s is daunting, but I'm beginning to see it as an opportunity for growth. I'm rediscovering parts of myself that I neglected during my marriage. I've picked up painting again, a hobby I abandoned because Jake complained about the mess. I'm reconnecting with old friends and rebuilding a support network independent of Jake and Sarah. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but I'm feeling stronger every day. I'm no longer the shattered woman I was. Reflecting on everything I've been through, I can see how much I've grown and transformed. Although I wouldn't wish this kind of pain on anyone, I am proud of how I navigated through it. I stood my ground, fought for what I deserved, and emerged stronger. This journey has taught me crucial lessons about self-worth, the importance of maintaining my identity in a relationship, and the incredible power of perseverance. I've also discovered who my true friends are: those who stood by me during the darkest times and supported me without question. To anyone going through a similar ordeal, know that it does get better. The road is tough, and there will be days when you feel like giving up, but you have more strength than you realize. Surround yourself with supportive people. Seek professional help if needed, and never hesitate to stand up for yourself. I am still in the process of healing and coming to terms with everything that has happened. There are moments when the pain and anger resurface, but they are becoming less frequent. I am learning to be gentle with myself, allowing my emotions to surface without judgment. As for me, I am eagerly looking forward to this new chapter in my life. For the first time in ages, I feel a sense of excitement about the future and the possibilities it holds. I'm rediscovering old passions and exploring new ones. I'm reconnecting with friends and family who I had lost touch with during my marriage. I'm also contemplating a career change, perhaps even returning to school to pursue a dream I've held for years. The thought of starting over is both terrifying and exhilarating, but I see it as a chance to create a life that truly reflects who I am. This experience has revealed to me that I am resilient, capable, and deserving of love and respect. Despite the difficulties, I am grateful for the lessons learned and the strength I have found within myself. I am no longer defined by the betrayal of my husband and best friend. I am a survivor and a fighter, and I am eager to see what the future holds. To everyone who supported me through this ordeal, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your kindness and encouragement have been invaluable. To those facing similar challenges, remember, you are not alone. There is light at the end of the tunnel, even if it feels distant right now. As I close this chapter of my life, I am filled with hope. Hope for new adventures, new relationships, and a life lived on my own terms. This may not be the path I envisioned at 33, but I am embracing it wholeheartedly. Thank you all for being part of this journey with me. Your support and advice have been a lifeline. Here's to new beginnings and finding strength in overcoming life's challenges.